Hi, everybody. We're going to go over the expression a stick in the mud. A stick in the mud is a very dull, very non-interesting type of person. And a stick in the mud, they usually just don't like change. But yeah, this is a just a very dull, boring type of person. So a stick in the mud, it's kind of like a fuddy-duddy, a bit. So someone who's just very conservative and they don't like things that change. So if I find you to be one of these people, I can say you're a stick in the mud. So if I say you're a stick in the mud, I find you very boring. Now I can add emphasis to this. I can say you're a bit of a stick in the mud, which means you're not always a stick in the mud, but sometimes you can be. So I'd say you're a bit of a stick in the mud. Now, if I think you're always a stick in the mud, I'm just gonna say you're such a stick in the mud. You're such a stick in the mud. So that just means you're probably always very boring and very dull and very uninteresting. You're a stick in the mud. So we can also start our sentences, of course, with possessives to describe someone that we know or whom we are associated with as being a stick in the mud, a very boring person. So I can say my brother. If my brother is not a very exciting, interesting person to be around, I can describe him as a stick in the mud. So I can say my brother's a stick in the mud with emphasis. Maybe sometimes he's a stick in the mud. Yeah, my brother's a bit of a stick in the mud. If he's really always a stick in the mud, my brother's such a stick in the mud. My brother's such a stick in the mud. Um, Now let's say I'm talking about maybe your boss. I've met your boss. I can use the possessive your. Hey man, your boss is such a stick in the mud. Your boss is a bit of a stick in the mud. So very dull, very boring, and just not fun to be around. Um, Now sometimes when you're out with people and with a group of people, maybe there's just someone that's just kind of being dull and boring. You can use a command stop being such a stick in the mud. Stop being such a stick in the mud. Or you can use don't be such a stick in the mud. Don't be boring. Have fun. Life is interesting. So you can share that with some people that you go out with who may just look bored, or they just look like they're not having fun, and because they're not having fun, other people are not having fun. The person's being a stick in the mud. So don't be a stick in the mud. So that is going to conclude this lesson. A stick in the mud, of course, is a very dull, very non-interesting person. So thank you very much for following along.